Hello there, Qckslvrslash here, and today I'm driving the Tier 9 Russian cruiser, the Dmitri Donskoi, and I'm playing alongside Seveah in his Iowa and RG Gangster Parade in his Fletcher. We're on Northern Lights domination mode, and, well, as you can see, we're big. We are the only 3 Tier 9s on our team, and we're all in a division, and we all spawned pretty much the same place on the map. What this means to me is we are going to have to carry. Not carry the whole team, but we have to make our weight kind of felt. You know, we're a lot of gunpowder, a lot of potential damage to do out of these 3 ships, sitting in the same place on the map. And, well, because we have a destroyer, we're going to go for A. Now, this cap can be odd. It's kind of out of the way. I'd say it's... And you can get separated because so often ships who come to A end up fighting way out here, and it puts them so far out of the battle they lose because, you know, they end up chasing something to the far corner of the map. Meanwhile, the other team gets all the caps and just wins by points. So when you come here, I find you have to keep your momentum. It can't turn into just a stalled battle where you both sit and do nothing forever, or you start chasing off way to the west. So if you get here, too much to fight, you know, just turn around, fight a running fight, and if there isn't enough to slow you down, punch through, use that momentum to loop around behind the enemy team and really affect the battle. So we're going through a bit of the punch through technique. We've got a Scharnhorst that's spotted, there's a Belfast and a Fiji that I'm bringing up on radar because they're sitting still in a smoke, and sometimes it's a little too easy to get these guys. I mean, first volley, 2 citadels, like 15,000 damage almost. And, you know, people complain that that smoke's overpowered. But by the time you get to Tier 8, there are so many ships that have radar and hydro that can root people out of those that it's really not as big an issue. You can see I get lit on fire a couple times and, well, I need to back away. This is only my 4th game in the Donskoi, and I overplay it sometimes. I'm used to that kind of small American cruiser that plays really brawly. This thing, much better at standing off, using good gun range and accuracy to just build damage. So the radar runs out. Luckily, I'm no longer spotted because they're all sitting inside a smoke. And you're going to see RG, without me having to ask, came over, provided smoke for me, saw that I was in trouble, and I see it. We didn't really talk. Like, I didn't say, hey RG, you know, can you give me smoke? He's not in comms, and you can see we never said anything. It's just good division play. You're looking out for the guys in your division so that as a trio or a duo, you can have a greater effect than you would alone. And you'll notice the other great thing he does that no one on the other team was willing to do here. He says, I'll go spot again. So he lays smoke for me, and he drives straight out of it to put himself in the open where he can see the enemy. Sure, the Miyoko is spotting something for a second there, but he got deleted. It doesn't matter though, because RG is out ahead of me, I'm not going to get surprised by torpedoes. He's not going to, you know, he's going to keep things lit. And you can actually see Seveah was provided a smoke by our Sims that came all the way over here, basically smoked him and left. So this is really one of those things that I just wish people in random battles did a little better sometimes, was looking about who's in smoke before using their own, because I've been in situations where I'm in a smoke that was given to me or my own. I'm relying on spotting for something else, and they go, oh, a ship's right there. They stop, they pop their smoke cloud, and suddenly all the spotting's gone, and then neither of us can do damage. Anyways, once again, a couple ships decide to stop inside that Fiji smoke. I put the 1 volley in, kind of confirm the Scharnhorst where you think he is. I activate my radar right as my rounds are loading, wait for him to get detected, there he is, and he's a sitting duck. Seveah fires, takes out almost all of his health, and my shells are going to be all that's required to kill him. And sometimes it's just a little too easy. When you've got a radar cruiser in range, it's not safe to stop and sit in smoke, guys. It's, to me, not a terribly difficult concept. I'm always paying attention to where things with radar and hydro are, so I don't get surprised. Sometimes I get caught because I don't have an option. It's either pop smoke or die. But in that situation, the Scharnhorst consciously decided to stop and smoke, and I was sitting, 10.5 kilometers away with it. See, RG put a great set of AP shells into that Fiji, finishing him off, and we've now taken the flank and a bit of the initiative. But the teams are pretty balanced, and they've got more caps than us. So this is where I'm kind of talking about how A kind of pulls you off to the side and separates you. They went kind of C and D primarily. They captured them. We've got some ships over there, but they died. Most of their team seems to be concentrated in this area. And yeah, we've got a couple vessels over there, but they're pretty alone, and we have no means to support that far right now. Fortunately, because we've secured this flank, there's no reason for us to sit over here. We don't have to think, oh, is there someone down here? We know what we killed, we got them all, and now we can just push out. We never have to worry about things looping in behind us unless their destroyer decides to go the longest way around the map possible. So that's kind of some of the benefits and detractors to going to one of these cap points, and I would say D is worse, which is why often you'll never see D get capped unless a destroyer goes into C, takes the channel, and just gets over there for the cap. Because if you don't run into anyone over there, you're out of the battle for so long, not being able to affect your team. So right now, we're kind of just trying to close. We're talking about what the plan's going to be, because Seveah and I are in comms. It was RG who wasn't, because just didn't have TeamSpeak up that day. Where I was in a Skype call with a bunch of buddies. You can see the Amagi probably focusing in a little bit with his guns, turns over into me. I managed to avoid him. And things are starting to maybe look a little better for us. Still even on the kills, but we're about to at least have a second cap. And to me that's crucial. It means they're no longer outrunning us on points. You don't necessarily have to be closing the gap, but if the gap isn't changing, then your kills have a chance to really affect the battle. And you can see I'm consciously choosing not to shoot. I do have shots at that Amagi, but he's outside my detection range. And I don't entirely want them knowing exactly what we've got over here. He obviously already knows the two battleships are here because, well, they're spotted from halfway across the map. But me and these DDs are kind of the unknown factor. Because a pair of battleships, that's not too threatening if you've got some support. But you throw in a cruiser with a decent rate of fire and a couple destroyers and you have a bit of a nightmare. So Seveah and I decide this Hipper is our target. I overlead him. To me it didn't look like he was going that slow. Fortunately, pretty good rate of fire on these guns. And I will also mention this is a completely stock ship I'm driving. Get a Citadel, 5,000 damage. He's going down sooner rather than later. Next volley is out. It's looking good again. Probably going to get a sit here. I do. Feeling great. He's down to 3,000 health. You can hear Seveah's guns go off right next to me. And finishes him off. So Seveah's now up to 3 kills. I've got 1 myself. RG's got 1. And RG and the other destroyer kind of go off to chase the Amagi, go after caps. Seveah decides I'm making my stand here. And a big reason is we've got this Bismarck here. If we support him, we can win a lot more fights than just leaving him be, because if we walk away, he's getting focused down. You can see he's already losing hit points at a staggering rate. So Seveah turns in to really try to support, and I slow up behind this little island here. And all I'm hoping for is this island blocks the line of sight between me and that Izumo, so I can take, 3-4 volleys completely unhindered. Unfortunately, I misinterpreted how much cover that would give me, and I was backing up to try to get a better shot. So now I'm seen, and this is not a good place for me to be. I'm going slow, and I'm side on to a tier 9 battleship. So I eventually, and it takes me a few seconds to really settle it in, and part of it's I was looking at where the Izumo was looking. He didn't seem to be looking my way until right there when his guns fire. I've got my engines already going ahead, so I'm accelerating. And I get a little lucky on the timing. I take one shell, but no real big damage, and I get away. So you can see off to my left, the Sims and Fletcher, RG, are doing a pretty good job. RG is requesting fire support, but I decide I have to help Seveah here, and I felt a little bad leaving him there on his own, but Seveah's kind of stuck. There's an Akatsuki up there, there's an Izumo. If I don't follow him up, he's gonna be, torped and focused down. Now the other thing I'm telling him right here is be ready. When I say so, you're going to engines full ahead, and we're charging this corner. Because with the Izumo where they're sitting, near this island, there's no real way for them to angle to both of us. I kind of personally suspect that the Izumo may feel Seveah is the bigger, more dangerous target, and look at him, but in my mind it doesn't really matter. What matters is the Izumo is going to shoot one of us, and when he does that, he's basically given up the chance at shooting the other. I finally get a great volley off at that Akatsuki, killing him, duck some shells from that Amagi, and here's where I say, full speed ahead, buddy, let's do this. So I've got my guns loading. I still have HE loaded because I'm expecting the Izumo to be more or less nose on. AP is going to be great the second I have a bit of his side, but at first it's all about just doing some damage, and there he is. So I zoom in, take a look, he shoots at Seveah, I shoot into the island, but it's pretty much free play for me from here. I turn to the right and my goal is to cross the bow. If I can get across his bow, he can't track his guns at this range fast enough to keep them onto me. I light a fire, put the torpedoes into the water, switching to AP, and well, this Izumo is all but done. Get the one torpedo in, second torpedo, pick up the kill, and now it's time for this Amagi. And you're going to notice what I try to do is go out wide, so the Amagi has to give one of the two of us our side. If he angles nose into me, he's given an Iowa his broadside. If he angles his nose into the Iowa, he's given me a broadside. And if he middles the two, well, it's not going to be super effective. But I also decide here I have to commit. Seveah was talking about maybe I ram him, and I go, no, don't. Like, between the two of us, we can kill this guy, he'll still be alive, just trust me on this. But he does continue to close, but he's basically agreed, okay, like in his mind he's started the repair, he's kind of watching, and we're doing a lot of damage, and the Amagi's decided to nose into me so he can get all his turrets onto Seveah, and now he's pinned between the two of us, and this is just good night. I put a volley off, Seveah's next up, I get another one, picking up my Confederate, and any second now I'll shoot, and Seveah's shells beat me, picks up a fourth kill. What a game this has been. I'm on 3, and in all that mayhem, we lost RG, but next up is this Fletcher. The secondaries start firing, I'm bringing all my guns around, I have no fears about this guy right now. Fire a full volley, they're looking good, leave him on 1,000 health, and there's Seveah's round. He picks up the Kraken, and at this point it's pretty much me going, you know what? If I run down this mayhem, we've killed all but 2 ships on the enemy team. We've done ourselves proud as the group of tier 9s. And I think part of what went so well for us is just the fact that we stayed as a group, but we never let ourselves stagnate. Yeah, we stopped in the 1 or 2 smokes right at the start, but that's when we actively had targets to shoot at. The second they were gone, it was full engines ahead, we were closing the enemy team, and we were doing it as a group and focusing down targets together. We weren't kind of going, who should we shoot next, and just kind of shooting whoever we felt like. There was always a concerted, this is who we want to kill next. And when you can have that mindset as an individual, a division, or even an entire team just chatting in team chat and using the auto commands to target things, you're gonna have a lot of success. And see, I popped my radar hoping to hit the Mayhem, but I'm just a little bit off. All the shells splashing his quarterdeck. And, well, at this point I decide, you know what? I'm just gonna go south. I'll capture C. If he comes around at me, he does. And if not, it's gonna be a good game. So let's jump ahead to the last couple seconds of action. I'm in the cap now, and I'm kind of worried about him coming down this channel. Pretty obvious ambush tactic. He could easily be sitting right in this spot, right here, waiting for me, well covered by that island. But as you can see, he's nowhere to be seen. About to drive out of the cap, so I start slowing down, and I'm just wondering, maybe the guy's just given up and wandered off. And I was starting to think it, and really just conceded to the point that this game's going for another 2 minutes, and then he peers around the corner. I tell Seveah, this one's mine. He actually turned his secondaries off for me. I line up the shot, get the kill. And at the end of the day, this game was really about the teamwork. I could not have done this alone, and if we hadn't worked together, I wouldn't have walked away with 476,000 credits, the 137,000 damage, 4 kills, and just really good game. And Seveah had a great game too, and we were enabled by RG. He provided smoke, he provided spotting, and he's what made this possible. And you know, it doesn't necessarily show in the team battle, which we're popping to right now. You know, Seveah and I are up there, RG Gangsta Parade's a little lower, but he made our games possible. And I can't thank him enough for that. Like, look at the damage I did to a whole slew of ships. And once again, we just focused down targets. So I have a couple low health kills, but I also have a couple high kill ships that I just didn't manage to kill. And, well, end of the day, I walked away with 298,000 credits and almost 12,000 experience, which for a brand new ship, this was enough to get me that hull upgrade, and I'm now in the B hull. A little more hit points, a little better AA. But all in all, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. I know I certainly did, Seveah did, RG. We were all having a fun time on this one. And if you did, consider giving a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. I'm really fighting to try to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you guys tomorrow.